Hey everybody, Johnny Runner 2 here, and welcome to Myst 3 Exile. I know a lot of people have been waiting a long time for this, and I'm sorry I couldn't release this sooner. I've had a lot on my plate, but I finally cleared off enough time on my schedule to where I can finally delve into Myst 3 Exile. I know there's a lot of fans out there, Mystites, Myst fans, Mysticals, Mistwalkers, whatever you want to call yourself. I'm one too. After playing the 2021 remake, I really enjoyed that. And then I moved on to Riven, which frankly I enjoyed more than the original Myst 2021 remake. And now here we are at Myst 3. So graphics and settings options, I'll show you what I got here. I've got the subtitles on. Graphics, all we can do is just change our monitor. I wish we could change the brightness within the game, but it doesn't appear that that's the case. We got the water effects on. We're not going to turn on zip mode yet. We may do that in a little bit once we start going around whatever island or location that we have, and we're trying to figure out stuff. We may turn that on. And then here's my audio settings. Little in the way of graphical options and things of that nature. I did start it real quick just to try to get my screen centered. I do use a ultra-wide monitor to game on, but I do record in 16:9, and sometimes OBS has to, have to move the canvas around, and I have to move the display around just so I get consistent borders on older games like this. But I think I have everything set up. I haven't spoiled myself with any of the story. I skipped straight to the first area, didn't even look around, and just made sure I got the borders in. So without further ado, let's start a new game.
I realized as our group linked back to Dunny that we should not restore the city as we had planned. The once magnificent buildings lay in ruin, testament to the hatred that had consumed them. Too many people had fallen victim to that hate, to the prejudice and greed from which it sprang. Gazing out across the cavern, I decided to write another age, one that would help the Dunny survivors begin again, free from the tragedies of their past. So with my wife, Catherine, supporting me, I put aside that past to write a future. More than a year has gone by since I finished writing Relishon. I have a new daughter, who I hope will someday link to the age with me. And as I imagine Yisha meeting the Dunny, those brave men and women who are building a new life for themselves, I realize I've been given another chance as well. A chance to learn from my mistakes and leave the past behind me once and for all.
So epic. All right.
Breathtaking, isn't it?
It is. Oh, look at this. Oh, we don't have static screens anymore. Look, there's a bird. Okay, this is nice. Much better quality of life here with looking around. Oh, hello.
We call it Tamana.
You
we
Catherine?
moved here after H has finished writing Relishon.
Yes.
He wanted us to have a new home too. I'm so glad to see you. I told Atris our paths would cross again. He was just going to grab something for your trip to Relishon, so he shouldn't be terribly long. Unless he decides to check over the whole house first, which means he could be hours resetting all his padlocks.
How did we get here?
But I know he was looking forward to introducing you to the Dunny, so he shouldn't be terribly long. Why don't you wait in his study?
So, Riven ended with us falling into the star fissure. And you and Atris use the book to return to Denis. So how are we here? Or are we a different person? We may be a different protagonist. All right, let's look around. Love the glass. All right, so he made mention that the Denis were rebuilding. And I know that his father, Gen's wife, was responsible. Well, I guess that would be his mother, right? Was responsible for the fall of the Denis. And in the opening cinematic, there were a picture of two young men. I assume that was his two boys from the original Myst that he destroyed. I don't know if he killed them. I know he destroyed the books, and he may have just trapped them in those places forever. But now he has a daughter. All right. Enough reminiscing about the story. But I did want to just kind of catch myself and, by extension, you guys up as to where we're at. So here we are. I'm assuming we're in Denis. How do we move forward? Okay, so we just click the direction we want to go. That's nice.
You know, this trip is exactly what Atris needs right now. I haven't been able to get him out of the house for months, ever since he found his journals out of place. But seeing how well the Dunny have settled in on Relation should help him to finally relax.
This is kind of like some of the VR videos you have now. You can look around. There's some points of looping video, like that bird that's flying. And this is all static, of course. Okay, so there's two ways to go. What's this way? I want to make sure I look around at each place because they love to hide levers and hints everywhere. Although I don't think this is a puzzle area. I think this is probably just exposition. That looks very like Eastern, right? Almost like Lotus. All right, let's click here.
I'm sorry, the other door.
Thanks. Go forward. Okay, so the little hand changes. See, it's a flat hand, and now it's like a pointy hand. I guess that means go forward. Yep. All right. Anything from here? Just a different view of her bouncing the baby around. All right, let's try it. All right, let's go through. Oh, there's some story on that mural there. Has to be. There's a book. Can we close the door? Looks like we'll just go back through, but I know y'all like to hide stuff behind doors. There's nothing here. Don't see anything there. Can we go over here? Can't click on these books. Whoa. Sorry. That's probably going to happen a lot. I'm going to try to click on stuff and end up moving. But that's okay. We'll learn the system here. Okay, so there's a book. I probably shouldn't go straight in that book, but let's look at it at least. Graphics are much improved. The resolution is much higher. Still not HD, but we're getting there. All right. I don't want to click that yet. We know it's here. Oh. Oh, there's a little magnifying glass. Okay, that's you and the baby. That's a lot of hair on that baby. All right, can't click that. I like that this allows me to know what I can examine and what I can't, so that's going to help. What is this? Some type of a crystal, and it doesn't appear we can interact with it. We can just zoom back out. Okay. Just bits and bobs here. Let's look at this. Timon? T-A-M-O-N. Timon? Is that like Timon and Pumbaa, but Tamon? Thank you for responding so quickly to my request for Nara padlocks. As you know, security in Tamana? Tamana. I'm sorry if I pronounced these wrong. I'm sure a cutscene will prove me wrong, whatever pronunciation I choose. Tamana has become an important issue as of late. Perhaps I'm overreacting, as Catherine suggests. but the idea that someone may have been sneaking into my study, reading all of my journals, disturbs me. I mean, that could have been us, right? After what happened to my library on Myst, after my own sons, Cirrus and Achenar, destroyed so many of my books, I've come to realize how delicate the link is to my worlds. I've never been able to repair those burned books, to link each age and find out if the inhabitants survived. The padlocks won't change that situation, but they should ease my fear of trespassers considerably. Sincerely, is it Atris? Atris? I'm going to say Atris. I know she said it earlier, but I wasn't paying attention to her pronunciation. Are we going to go back to Myst? That would be cool. What's this? A magnifying glass of a magnifying glass. Okay, cool. And those are the suns. Okay, so this is his desk that he was at before. And can't look at the lamp. All right, let's go this way. And let's look at these. Okay, a two-hulled ship with what appears to be like a city on the ship. That's freaking cool. So a ship with a city on it comes here and meets indigenous people? Is this Catherine and Atris? Or Atris? Maybe. Let's go back this way. Let's go over here. Let's look at this one. All right, so he's here to throw the one ring into the lava down here. Oh, there's stuff around. Oh, we can look at the bottom. Okay, he's reading. He's teaching. He's either teaching or preaching here. And they're pulling the ships up and setting up a colony, a camp. Let's look at the top again. Okay, looks like they are mining and found this place. This is where he wants to be. And it looks like the ruins. Is this Denis? Is this the ruins of Denis here? I'm just thinking out loud, by the way. Obviously not asking for answers on that. Let's see if we can look at the bottom of this one. Okay, studying the book. That looks like one of those travel books because it has a little square there, the rectangle. Steamwork. What is this? That almost looks like a golem. Oh. Skeletons. Giant lizard footprints? Okay. Discovered a new world with a bunch of crazy, like, technology and giant animals. Huh. What's here? Can't go there. Can we go up there? We cannot. Can we look at this? Relishan. This is the one he just wrote.
Well, my friend, I see you found the Relishan book.
Relishan.
Catherine tells me you've been here for some time. I'm sorry if I've kept you waiting. Since we'll be gone a few days, I needed to secure some of my things. And I also wanted to bring you this. It's a journal I kept while I was writing Relishan. I thought you might find it interesting to read about what I'd hoped to achieve, compared to what the age truly is. Well, just let me get my keys to unlock Relishan and we'll be off. Oh, and I'm interested in hearing what you've been up to in recent months.
Whoa! Who's this crazy man?
No! No!
That's so dramatic.
Relishan!
So we gotta chase and get that book. Use it. Can we go back? We have no choice. We have to go here. Here we are. I believe this is the game proper. Looks like a tusk. Oh, I wonder if those shark whale things are in this. Or if that was just in Riven. Okay. Definitely better resolution. I love this. It's like each zone is like a sphere that you can look around in, kind of. All right, let's see what this is. This allows us to see. Can we do anything with it? Oh, there's the journal. We should probably read that. Let's go back. How do I get down? Oh, if I right click. Right click allows me to look, and then right click allows me to then interact with what I'm looking at. Okay, I like this. All right, let's look at this book. Oh, goodness. All right. 93-525. I always feared this day would come. For years, Catherine and I have dreamed of restoring Denis. We have dedicated our lives to the task, taken it upon ourselves to locate the citizens of Denis and convince them to return to their ruined city and rebuild. Okay, so that must be what the murals we were looking at were kind of depicting. Our dream has become the day of so many now. Let me retry that. I read that wrong. Our dream has become the dream of so many now, and the progress we have made towards achieving it is something of which we can all stand proud. But I know that it has been a mistake. Ooh, it's a mistake. The city of Denis should not be restored. It should stand forever in ruins as both a symbol of our past mistakes and a memorial to all who lost their lives when Denis fell. The devastating events of recent months, the war on Terani and the death of Uta, in particular, have driven this truth home to me quite forcefully. If we rebuild the city walls today, are we not giving approval to the very illness that destroyed our civilization in the first place? Are we not setting ourselves up to repeat that pattern again in future generations? I've put much thought in this tonight and have found only one solution. If we, the men and women who survived the downfall of Denis, are to thrive, then we must break the pattern of hatred which has destroyed so many lives. We must begin our civilization anew, and we can only do that if I write us a new age. I've spoken with Catherine about this, and she agrees. I only hope the others will see it as well. 93-526. Will these people never cease to amaze me? I thought they would object to my decision. After all, most of them linked back to Denis specifically to see the city rebuilt. But when I told them why we should not restore it, their response was immediate and unanimous. Whereas yesterday they thought only of rebuilding, today they concentrate solely on salvage. They intend to take from their ruined city only that which is best and move on. Everywhere I look, the enthusiasm for this new task is obvious. It heartens me even as I face my own monumental contribution. I have written many ages in my lifetime, from my first timid attempts under the tyrannical tutelage of my father to my most recent accomplishment, Averon. Never before has so much been riding on my skill. The age I am about to write must be all I ever imagined and more. How am I going to achieve it? 93-6-1. Catherine laughed this morning when she saw me drudging out my old notebooks. I must have made quite the picture, sitting near the embers of a fire surrounded by countless commentaries and journals. Some of them seemed more dust than paper, but the hours I spent sifting through them was worth it. Okay, so here is a crescent island with two offshoots with what appears to be maybe towers or huts, some type of main building, and some type of other little offshoot here. Ideas for what this new age might be are tumbling around in my head. There are almost too many to catch hold of. And then we're looking at floating islands here, like sky islands, it looks like. This looks like familiar architecture from the original Island of Myst, or Age of Myst. Obviously, I must choose some starting point as my anchor. Writing ages is a science, a precisely structured equation of words. Every equation needs as its foundation an underlying concept around which the age can develop. In the past, I've written my books around whatever idea intrigued me most at the time. I wanted to discover how the age to which the book linked would manifest the results of that idea. Sometimes civilizations had arisen, sometimes they had not. But whether a society had come to exist on the age or not, it was often in response to whatever concept the book I had written embodied. Okay, so they're based around a concept. This time, my search for a concept must be weighed very carefully. I already have the civilization I wish to see develop. I know our history as a people and the paths we have followed to arrive here. Today, I must write a book which will link to an age that will allow us to continue on our way, growing ever stronger as one people. What underlying concept must this new age reflect that will best allow our civilization to thrive? I fear I must think on this some more. All right, we got like a mountainous metropolis where it looks like some type of observatory on the top and spires rising up. Kind of look like Mos Eisley Towers here. 9365. It has taken me some time, but I may have found my anchor. It came to me as I was considering what I know about the survivors of Denis. We have seen so much tragedy in our lives, from the destruction of the city to the suffering and loss of loved ones due to plague and deprivation. Somebody's mowing outside. Hopefully you guys can't hear that. Yet even in the midst of these adversities, my kinsmen and I have found the strength to keep going. We have tapped into our individual strengths and transformed ourselves into something much stronger. It is a characteristic I have seen in several of my ages whenever I focus my writing on the inherent energy sources in a world. Long ago, grandmother taught me that no life, no possibility for life in an age exists without the presence of energy. By tapping into its latent energy sources, an age moves out of stasis. It grows, transforms, and develops. Energy is the underlying fuel that powers all activity. To put it more simply, energy powers future motion. Okay, so that's a theme we're probably going to touch on more. Yet, as grandmother also liked to remind me, energy in an age takes on diverse forms. Each one has strengths and weaknesses of its own. How many forms will this new age contain? Which type will be its dominant theme? Tomorrow, I will link back to Myst. Okay, so he is going back to Myst. And from there, revisit several of my ages. Perhaps in my old worlds, I will discover new ideas. 9366. I had almost forgotten how painful it is to revisit Myst. In the 10 years since my sons Cirrus and Achenar left me trapped on Kavir Island and burned so many of my books, Catherine and I have rarely linked back. I told myself we were always too busy. First with writing ages like Averon, and then with searching the ages of Denis for survivors. I always said we would spend more time on Myst eventually. The truth is, I have been avoiding the age. Seeing the island in its current condition ignites such anger and grief. I am immediately reminded of the betrayal of my sons, as well as the cruelty and greed with which they plundered my ages. I know I'm partly responsible for these acts. I constantly wonder if there was something I could have done to reach out to the boys before enough. Wait a minute. Enough. Nothing can change the tragedies of the past. Like my Denis kinsmen, I must salvage what is best and move on. Perhaps in the process I will find forgiveness and hope. 93-10-17. Once again, I am back on Myst Island, having completed a lengthy sojourn through several of my ages. The trip itself was not as inspiring as I had hoped. The Selentic age was especially disturbing. But has it not always been so? The very first time I linked to the age, its uninhabited landscape was shaking with tremors. At the time, I felt it was because the energy in the age was unfocused, as if it were at war with itself. Stability finally came, but even after it did, I never truly felt comfortable there. I missed the more natural balances of ages like Channelwood. Perhaps that is the lesson to take home with me. The Denis, too, have faced much turmoil in their history. Their lives have been unsettled enough. Perhaps I should be striving to offset the energy that already exists within our civilization by providing it with a more stabilized environment in which to grow. an environment in which the natural equilibrium of the world serves as a counterpoint to the upheavals of the civilization. The more I consider it, the more I wonder if I should make nature the foundation of this new age. Worlds like Channel would attain equilibrium quite easily, primarily because of one reason. Nature encourages mutual dependence. As one life withers and dies, it provides nourishment so that another might live. Plants become food for other animals, and the waste products of animals cannot absorb become nutrients to sustain the other plants. So long as nothing intrudes to upset this balance, nature can maintain itself indefinitely. An interesting metaphor to set as an example for my people. I think I will confer with Catherine on this subject. Her ages always exhibit symbiosis. Her ages. Catherine's been writing ages. Symbiosis more dramatically than mine. Perhaps she should help me write this new age. Okay, so Catherine, from what I understand, she was from Riven originally, and then Atris basically made her his wife. I guess he taught her how to write. Okay. 931024. I'm so tired I can barely think right now, but I will force myself to stay focused, for I have not written anything in days. The moment I linked back to Denis, I was besieged with requests for my assistance. Master Timon wanted to consult over which stonecutters were worth salvaging, and did I think the rock in this new age would be difficult to sound? To sound? Alma and Exile needed my opinion about a new history they had uncovered. Should they hold off on starting its translation, or would paper supplies be scarce in the new age? There were so many questions needing answers. I barely had time to see Catherine. She, of course, laughed at my dilemma, saying that I had no one to blame but myself. After all, I was the one who encouraged the Denis to start over. Naturally, they would look to me to keep them moving in the right direction, unless some other force stepped in to change that view. Her words made me realize a fundamental principle I had thus far been ignoring. All this time, I had been debating whether to make energy or nature the underlying framework for this age. But there's another equation to consider. An age based solely on the future motion of energy will face constant upheavals, most likely at the cost of tranquility. And an age based solely on the mutual dependence of nature can become so balanced over time it may cease to tolerate change. Yet to consider to grow as a people, Denis civilization needs both, occasional upheavals followed by periods of balanced stability. I have seen such situations occur naturally on several of my ages. Each time it was because I centered the writing around some dynamic force I had decided to make prevalent in the age. Such forces allow the balance between forward motion and mutual dependence to fluctuate. As one concept takes precedence, the other recedes until another force surfaces to change things. As Catherine's insightful comment reminded me, dynamic forces spur change. I am too tired to think more on this tonight. Hopefully in the morning my thoughts will coalesce. It seems that these themes are bold, or maybe I'm just seeing that as bold, but the dynamic forces spur change, the circle of life with nature, and then the constant turmoil of energy were all kind of emboldened, and I'm paraphrasing, of course. But that's going to do it for this episode. Next episode, we'll pick back up with the journal entries and we'll continue on with the game. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy my content, please consider a like, a comment, and or a subscribe. Stay tuned for the next episode. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.